Good morning, guys. Week 2 Wisconsin whitetail season. Cooled down a little bit this week. Got down to, I think it's like 52 degrees right now, so we should be sitting pretty for this morning. It was like 85 degrees last weekend, but it's 3:20 in the morning. Got about an hour and a half drive, and then we'll be up in a tree. See you guys when I get there. Been up in the stand for about an hour now. Just got like maybe 15 minutes ago. I'm kind of set up right in between a giant like cornfield. There's some wheat on the other side, and a big set of brush over this way. Or a big set of bedding is over this way. But all these woods are super thick, so I'm sort of set up on this like tractor trail that runs in between them that hasn't been used in a few weeks. But we'll see what happens. Alright, another update for you guys. It's about 9:30. I'm gonna start to get out of the stand. Maybe scout a little bit. Kind of walk down this way. I've got another, I don't know, half mile of trail to kind of look at. I haven't really walked back there before, so gonna head back that way, see what I can see, and see if it changed my mind on where I'm gonna set up for this afternoon. Update for you guys. Found my spot for the evening. Walked all the way back to the end of this trail, probably half a mile, 3/4 of a mile. And wouldn't you know, giant cornfield that's all on public with a little break. There's a creek running like right behind me. And then off to my right is some private, and back behind me the woods actually open up into a little bit of swampiness. So you're on the edge of a bunch of stuff. A bunch of different like woods and swamp and corn and everything, and then all along the edges of these cornfields is a ton of tracks. So we'll be back here about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and back up in the tree for the afternoon sit. It's 2:41 right now. We're looking over a super big cornfield. There's quite a few trails that come in from the cornfield, and then back this way there's a swamp that kind of connects the two to a big set of woods out past the swamp. So it's a really good just sort of point where there's a bunch of different wildlife that meets up. We'll see what happens. Alright, just got down. As you can see, not the best looking arrow in the world, but I'm gonna go back to the car, take a look on the MacBook, see if I can blow up the footage and see really kind of where I hit this deer and see if I'm gonna wanna possibly leave her overnight even though it's gonna rain, because I know where she bedded. She's in this corn, and if I go pushing her out, then she'll go into this really thick swamp, and who the hell knows where it's gonna go from there. Alright, after looking at the shot, we're definitely going to leave her till morning. Shot was a little far back. It's tough because it is supposed to drizzle a little bit tonight, but it's already in a pretty wet field, so there wouldn't probably be much blood to begin with. It's tough because her shoulder was back when I shot, so I did hit right behind the shoulder, but right behind the shoulder in this case was probably liver and guts. It didn't smell terrible. Probably just on the exit it caught guts, and it was probably maybe liver on the way in, so hopefully I watched where she headed. She's probably bedded down right in that cornfield, and we can just kind of grid search it tomorrow morning. We'll be right back up bright and early and out here to look for her in the morning. Alright guys, I just finished editing this video like 5 minutes ago, and I realized I never did an outro, so I'd like to come on here and sort of summarize what happened that next day when we went back to go look for her. There wasn't a whole lot of filming that went on. And then 2 is to give you guys some learning experiences that you can kind of take into your own hunts. My whole goal with the channel, 1, is to entertain. I think that's the goal of like 99% of YouTube channels, even if they don't say that. And then 2, I want to actually give you some lessons that you can take into your own hunting. As I go along, I'm only 3 years into bow hunting, so I'm going to make mistakes. I have no problem showing those. And I'd rather show them and allow people to learn from the mistakes that I make than never show them and just act like I'm some perfect hunter, because that isn't what the case is. So ultimately, if we go back to that hunt, which was 3 or 4 months ago now, in the very end of September, we went back that next day, and I never did find that doe. From what it looked like, she had gone into, which you can't see on video because I was very brushed into that tree, she ran down the middle part of this cornfield and then looked like she had bedded down because the top of the corn stalks stopped moving, so I could tell that kind of where she was at. But she bedded down maybe 20-25 yards into the corn, but then it was supposed to only drizzle at that night after, which is why I decided to go home. If I knew it was going to rain harder, I probably would have just pushed her, knowing that the chances of me finding her in the morning after a downpour like that were slim to none. So I'd rather at least give it the chance to maybe push some blood out of her, do whatever, try to I guess stalk her. I still had plenty of daylight left that night, but I didn't do that. So we went back the next day, and after that downpour, the cornfield had almost flooded out. It was super murky, lots of standing water. So I don't think she would have stayed bedded down there regardless. But also, we saw where her tracks went into that cornfield, and then it was crossed by a coyote track, and then that coyote track actually followed straight in that deer track all the way out of the field. And keep in mind, this is probably only the 3rd time I've hunted that place, so I don't really know the bedding locations or where their escape routes are from this field. So we followed that track, never did find her at the end of it, and I'm assuming that coyote probably ran her a pretty good ways. With being a gut shot, with the way it was, she could have run for quite a while, especially assuming that with it being a night hunt, that it wasn't very long after that she was chased by that coyote. Now, if we look back at the shot and the things that I should have done differently, it was only the 3rd or 4th week of season, so it was the first time I had seen deer up until that point, seen an animal regardless, after going on that elk hunt also. So I was pretty excited. I let my emotions get the best of me, and I shot too early. So I should have let her really, if you can see where that trail for deer kind of crossed that little river that she was drinking in, or whatever you want to call it, drainage creek, anything like that. But she was drinking in it, and she would have come right across that, probably if I would have given her another couple minutes and given me a pretty broadside perfect shot at like 13 to 14 yards. But I shot too early. I let the emotions get the best of me. And what had happened was I actually shot right behind her shoulder, but the biggest mistake I made was I shot when her head was down, and I shot when she was quartering to. So the combination of those things meant her shoulder was back. If you look in the video, shoulder was back, And so right behind the shoulder actually puts me at the angle of going through, at the best case scenario, the very back of the liver and mostly guts and intestine. But because I also shot a little bit low, it was likely all stomach. So it's not a fast death. And with a coyote coming after her, there was pretty much no shot at me actually recovering that deer. So that being said, I hope you guys learned some stuff from my own mistakes. And I'm going to have 1 to 2 more of these coming out in the similar sense of learning from my own mistakes. And those will be up in the next few weeks, so stay tuned for those. Leave some comments below of maybe some learning experiences that you hope that other people can learn from, maybe some mistakes that you've made that you maybe never made a video of, but you could at least comment and help some people out that way.